Daniel Reed had learned how many cracks lived in a prison ceiling. By the 300th count, they stopped looking like damage and started looking like maps, river deltas, branching veins, the slow collapse of something once whole. He had plenty of time for that kind of thinking now. 6 hours. That was all it had taken for a military tribunal to erase 20 years of service. 6 hours to decide that orders mattered more than lives. The charges still echoed in his head like a bad joke: insubordination, unauthorized evacuation, destruction of military property. As if dragging 300 colonists out of a burning reactor facility made him a traitor instead of a soldier who refused to watch people die. The facility had held decades of weapons research. According to his commanding officer, that data outweighed human lives. Daniel had asked one question during the trial. Would you have left your daughter there to burn? No one answered. That silence told him everything. They hadn't exiled him because he was wrong. They'd exiled him because he reminded them of what they'd chosen not to be. Redstone was the compromise. Execution would have been cleaner. Instead, they sent him to the edge of human space, to a mining outpost called Last Hope, a place where unwanted people went to disappear. 14 prefab buildings, one exhausted mine. 47 residents, each carrying their own quiet failure. Ruth, the outpost manager, gave him the rules without ceremony. Work the supply runs. Keep your head down. Don't expect pardons. Don't expect rescue. Nobody leaves Last Hope, she said. Die quietly when your time comes. Daniel took a job hauling supplies to automated mining drones in the Black Ridge Mountains. Long flights. Dangerous terrain. Silence for days at a time. Perfect. 6 months passed in numb routine. Pain dulled when you stopped paying attention to it. Then, on his 47th run, the storm hit. Redstone's weather turned without warning. Green lightning ripped through black clouds, and the wind caught his transport over the deepest part of the range. The first strike killed navigation. The second took his port engine. He fought the controls until the mountains filled the viewport. The crash was violent, bone-breaking. When Daniel woke, his shoulder was shattered, the transport half buried in snow, and the beacon useless in the deep valley. Food for 5 days, water for 3, 1 rifle, 1 failing heater. He crawled out and understood immediately this wasn't any valley on the charts. Staying with the wreck was procedure. But procedure had already cost him everything once. So he walked. The cave entrance was almost invisible beneath the snow. Inside, the cold eased instantly. The cavern opened wide, its floor smooth. Walls carved with symbols he didn't recognize, flowing lines, geometric patterns, something ancient and deliberate. Then his light found them. 3 massive eggs stood in the center of the cavern, each nearly 2 meters tall. Their shells were scaled like metal, glowing softly blue and gold, pulsing in slow, steady rhythm. A heartbeat. Daniel approached carefully. The eggs were warm. Too warm. Bones near the entrance stopped him cold, huge ones, scorched and shattered, riddled with plasma burns and bullet holes. Whatever had laid these eggs had been killed, recently. Professionally, he looked at the storm outside, at his dead beacon, at the eggs. He should have left. Instead, he set down his rifle and started building a shelter. 3 days in, Daniel knew he was dying. His shoulder throbbed constantly. Supplies were running out, the storm hadn't eased. The beacon stayed silent. Still, he wrapped more insulation around the middle egg, the dimmest one. When one nearly went dark the first night, he'd pressed his own body against it, sharing what warmth he could until the glow returned. Now he had a system. Heater repositioned every few hours. Beacon rewired into a crude heat source. Insulation layered into a nest. It was ugly. It worked. The carvings told the rest of the story. Star maps, life cycles, winged creatures emerging from eggs identical to these. Dragons, not myths, not stories. Real. Shell casings near the entrance confirmed it. Military standard. Mercenaries. They would come back. Daniel counted his ammunition. 90 rounds. Not enough, but enough to make it expensive. On the 5th day, the ship arrived. sleek, black, 6 armored figures moving with professional precision. Their leader stepped forward, removed his helmet, and smiled. "You are trespassing on claimed salvage human," the mercenary called. "Leave now." "You killed a mother protecting her children," Daniel answered. "We hunted these creatures for 1,000 years. Then you know they're worth more alive." "Exactly." Daniel fired into the snow at their feet. The firefight was brutal and fast. Traps collapsed stone and metal. Plasma scorched the cave entrance. Daniel moved constantly, bleeding, calculating, refusing to break. "You are delaying the inevitable," the mercenary leader shouted. "You have days. We have weeks." Daniel didn't argue. He checked the eggs again. The middle one pulsed brighter now. "I don't know if you can hear me," he told them quietly, "but I won't let them take you." The next assault brought drones. One burned his arm. Pain screamed through him, but he held the line. The mercenary leader tried reason. "We want them alive. They'll imprint. Dragons were once weapons. Whoever controls them controls power." Daniel understood then. These weren't animals. They were futures. "No," he said. The final assault came with heavy plasma. Stone shattered. His leg broke. Bone showed through charred flesh. Daniel dragged himself behind the eggs, rifle nearly empty. He noticed something then, patterns in the carvings, circles within circles, communication. With shaking hands, he recorded everything, the eggs, the symbols, his choice. He broadcast it blindly into the void. The mercenaries advanced. Daniel fired until the rifle clicked empty. Then the sidearm, then nothing. A plasma bolt hit his chest. He fell back against the largest egg, warmth seeping through his armor as the world dimmed. "You died for nothing," the mercenary leader said. Daniel smiled weakly. "I bought them time." Behind him, the eggs cracked. The sound that followed wasn't noise, it was pressure. Reality itself seemed to vibrate. Equipment failed. Mercenaries collapsed, screaming. The shells opened like flowers. 3 hatchlings emerged, gold, silver, bronze, small but radiant. They moved immediately to Daniel, pressing against his cooling body. They opened their minds, memory flooded outward. They saw earth, oceans, fire. A man choosing lives over orders. Standing alone, they understood. The golden hatchling keened. Space tore open. 7 adult dragons descended. Ancient and immense, scales burning with colors unseen for 10,000 years. The mercenaries fled. Their ship vanished as if erased. The eldest dragon approached Daniel gently, felt his fading consciousness. Dragons remembered warmth. They chose preservation. Energy bent. Crystal formed. Daniel's body was encased, his neural patterns preserved in quantum states beyond death. Not alive. Not gone. "Daniel Reed," the dragon spoke. "You died as dragons die, protecting the young. You will be remembered." The hatchlings stayed. They grew. They carried his memory. News spread like wildfire. An exiled human had died protecting dragon eggs. Recordings leaked. The galaxy watched a man choose compassion when no one would have blamed him for leaving. Humanity changed that day. Dragons returned. They spoke to the Galactic Council with a single message. "You produced one who chose warmth over power. That matters. Humanity earned a permanent seat, not for weapons, not for wealth, but for character." Years later, dragons intervened across the stars, not as conquerors, but as guardians. They shared Daniel's memory with anyone who would listen. Strength, they taught, was protection. Honor was standing when standing cost everything. In the space between spaces, Daniel Reed felt it all. Gratitude, lives saved, choices changed. He was not alive, but he was never forgotten. And dragons, who remembered everything, made sure the galaxy never forgot the human who taught them what warmth truly meant.